that you learned tonight, or not one?
Yes.
Something else
Bill.
for us to do?
It's more sugar.
Did you all get a raise this year?
Did we?
Lots of them.
These guys.
Right. How do you answer that one, Bob?
Yeah, I got a big one.
100%?
Bill?
Just a little surprising to realize that we have 20 employees and realize that we have that many working in the community. So it's interesting to know.
Mm-hmm.
All
Yeah.
for the same price, right? I mean,
Right.
right.
So the pool staff, they're part-timers, and that's all that they do. So your three maintenance, of course, you've got them, and we could give you a plethora of the list of things that they do, and then of course, you know, all of the seven rest of us on the on-site, you know, handle the day-to-day operations.
I have a question about the pool maintenance.
Sure.
Are the whoever, what do we call the person that's sitting there? The attendant.
Okay.
I was at the pool 3 times, no attendant.
Yeah.
And the bad thing is, if it's on a Sunday, isn't there some way, like last Sunday, at the, what is it?
Indigo?
Huh?
Indigo?
No, not Indigo, the
Lakeview.
one by the golf course.
Lakeview.
Yeah, Lakeview.
Mm-hmm.
No pool attendant.
What time were you there?
12 o'clock till about 3.
Yeah. So they should have come in by 2. If they didn't,
No.
I will definitely look at that schedule.
They're either.
So if someone calls in, normally what we'll try to do is have another of the pool hosts rotate. So
2 days they went without pool attendance.
was that Sunday and Saturday? Saturday and Sunday?
Sunday, Monday.
So, we didn't hear that at all. If I look at my schedule, I
Well, and the problem is on the weekend, you know, during the week now, it's not important at all. But on the weekend, when you have so many families, and there was a group of about 12 people with cans of beer in the pool
right,
and ice chests,
right. So here's
you know, that's a problem. Because
Right.
there's nobody to call.
right. I can tell you that if that happens again, the customer care center that I shared with you, I'm happy to give you that number again. I would love for you to go ahead and call in, and then that would clue me in that way. Because unless you tell me, I don't know that. But I'll take a look at the schedule too. I'll go over that with Sergio and see what maybe happened. So before noon, right? Homeowners can be there all day doing,
Oh, I know,
right?
I know.
But we want the pool crew there, you know, 2 o'clock on for that very thing you talk about, to have some sense of order, and it usually works. But I appreciate you bringing that up.
And I know that you have a new head one. So
Sergio Rodriguez.
he's not aware of how important it is, particularly during the summer, with the families
Yes,
on the weekend.
yeah. Oh, he is aware of that, and we know we're going to be coming up on summer as well. Yeah, thank you for that.
Can we perhaps get small signs that say, if you have a safety concern, please call the customer care number and list the number, and have them at all 3 pools?
Yeah.
Something like this would be really easy, because I know I don't know the number.
Yeah, we're also working on getting the address for each pool easily viewable as well.
Something that would be
Mhm.
on the, okay.
Because I'm not gonna take on 12 teenagers.
No, we don't want you to.
Don't want you.
Right. Yeah, and if there's like a problem or you feel threatened at all, it's a 911 call, because it's important to.
Right, I know.
I like to share too that our pool hosts, so they're not lifeguards, right?
Right.
And so we tell them fire, flood, blood, you know, of course, if there's anything that would be, you know, hazardous to the health of anyone in the pool, yeah, but I really appreciate you bringing that up.
Yeah, because it's important. I use that pool all the time.
Good. Yes, you're absolutely right.
And if they call the service desk, it will page out to somebody on the weekend. So for example, ma'am, if you called and left a message, Sergio would have been told that there's a problem at X pool and being able to call one of the hosts to go around.
I believe that it gives you the number for customer care. It doesn't roll over. just to clarify that. So I like your idea of making sure that there would be something
Phone number.
posted.
Call.
Mhm. Right. Very good. Yes.
Robin, what is the phone number of the customer care?
Yeah, sure, Dan. I appreciate you asking. It's 480
480-551-4300.
551 4300. Mm-hmm.
One more time.
You got it. 480 551 4300.
Yeah.
And it works. I get calls all the time, weekends, sometimes 2 a.m. So the system works. And the nice thing about it is it's a treat. So if I'm not getting to that, it goes to my vice president. So we always try to catch it before that.
Psyched.
Hey, you be nice over there. Yes, Sandy.
I have a question. I thought that the pool monitor started at noon.
There are two. So right now we're looking at hours. They had actually requested maybe just doing straight 1 o'clock all year round. Kind of the same difference. You know, we have them 2 o'clock during winter months. So we're looking at that. Probably going to have to crunch some numbers for the budget though to make sure it makes sense. We haven't started our summer hours yet. So we're talking about that conversation to have with the board as well. Dan.
Actually, I have 2 questions for Kim.
Go ahead.
First of all, what time Tuesday, and every first or second, third, fourth Tuesday, at what time?
The landscaping,
Landscaping continues?
it's
Second Wednesday.
Wednesday, second Wednesday at 4 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock? Oh, 3 o'clock. Whatever.
That's why he's always late.
He's going to put it in right now.
I love it.
It's on my iPad at home, so I show up on time.
The next question, you're probably right on top of this, being it's right and early. I remember, it seems like the last meeting, we had a couple of pie charts showing the percentage of income. And one of the pie charts showed that fines were about 20%, 20+% of our income.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, I went back and looked at some previous records, it seems like it's almost nil, 2, 3, maybe percent of income. Well, why was the big jump in fines? As in,
Oh, prior years?
Yeah, well, what prior years, prior to the months?
That was a full year calculation. That wasn't a monthly calculation. Maybe I calculated it correctly. I would check the number again. I'm pretty sure it all added up to 100%. So.
And Tim, I would bet that you're right. I can help answer that, Dan. When we do some comparisons on prior violations that were written, we have really amped that up. And I task my team with that. And Jennifer's great at making sure that they're out there all of the time. And I think that's part of it. And so it's also important to understand that, you know, there's been different occasions where things happen and people feel like, oh, they're just trying to make money. And that, of course, is not it. But I'll tell you, from our office, the calls that we get daily, multiple calls from homeowners that are upset about another homeowner's weeds and things like that, it is imperative that we're out there. So that's what they're tasked with. We have them out there 5 days a week. And we do have some new teammates in compliance, which I think is going to be fabulous. One comes with immense experience, and we really were looking for that. And the other thing too is we want to make sure that they never get complacent. That's why Jen and I will go out and we'll do drives with them as well, because we see things that they may not. So we're really excited about our team now. That really is a big reason is we are amping up the violations, and not because we're trying to make money, we're trying to make sure that you're okay with your neighbor's yard next to you and whatnot.
I know the weeds are, that's got to be a moneymaker for you.
It's that time of year. It's that time of year. It's crazy, you know. And we really we work with homeowners. You know, sometimes there's just some situations. So we are not trying to be hard on homeowners, but you know, as we talked about in the beginning, the governing documents, you know, they demand that we fulfill that obligation. And so if we're not writing up those violations, we're not doing our job. You know, we also hope that it presses on homeowners a bit to make their yard look better, so that neighbors don't have to look at something they don't want to. That's where a lot of those site visits I was telling you about. Yeah. Yes, Andy.
Oh, sorry. The street near my house, it's just a very short street. Goes between Desert Moon Trail and Denham. And the other day, because of cars parked on both sides of the street, and a big truck pulling a trailer coming towards me as I'm making my left turn on there. I know that there's no daytime parking thing, but it's crazy.
Yeah, that wasn't the only, you're not the only person mentioning that particular street for that day. So
every car that I see parked there has got dents in it. Makes me wonder how they're getting the dents. You know, and if there's dents in other people's cars trying to get through there.
it may be something to look at, and quite honestly, because of the narrow streets, in the moment you've got people parking on both sides, it is difficult. You know, I'm thinking someone has a party too, or does everybody park?
They're there every day. They're there every day.
So that is something that should probably be considered, or just a topic that we, you know, we chat about as a board.
So with the roads are Pinal though, right?
They are.
What about the curb that goes on the road that would belong to Pinal as well?
The curb.
The curbing.
The curbing, because here's
Yes.
where I'm going with this thought. If you are from back east, or perhaps anywhere else, there's always red where you're not allowed to park. The curbing is painted red. Usually it's in front of a fire, and then it's as you go around the bend. Most people,
Those are codes.
yeah, so my question is why can't we paint as we go around that corner, that curbing, that red color?
It would be Pinal. You know, it would have to be something that she can ask Ray at Pinal County. We have a wonderful connection at Pinal County, and he'll be able to tell us. You know, we've had other homeowners, for instance, in Lakeview, they have this turnabout, and Lakeview doesn't have a lot of parking, so I got it. They wanted to know, well, why can't we make parking spaces there? Well, we didn't just tell them no. We went to the county and we asked, hey, could we do this? And no, because it was an emergency truck turnaround. So, okay, makes sense. And we were able to share with that homeowner. So, you know, along those lines too, we're trying to figure out how to help homeowners know, you know, come to us with concerns and questions, because they're important to us, each and every single one. We're not perfect. I'm going to say that again. We are not perfect. We're going to make mistakes. But I'll tell you what, the moment we know that there's something out there that's wrong or whatever, we're going to try to fix that mistake as quick as we try to take care of homeowner concerns and things as well. So you'll have to be a little forgiving sometimes when we get a date wrong or misspell something here or there. It's a constant moving wheel, and so we do our best, and sometimes I have to tell the team to just slow down a little bit and make sure you're not missing things, but that's where we ask for a little bit of forgiveness, because we try to be perfect. Along those lines, what I was trying to share too, and my entire team will tell you, because you can't be on my team if you don't have this attitude. When someone calls in, if it's as simple as a barking dog, or that's not simple, but simple as, what's something simple we get calls on all the time, Jennifer? What?
Weeds.
Yeah, weeds. I was trying to think of something even that. Right. It becomes our concern. And it doesn't have to be violation related. I have people that will come and ask me questions that, even though it's a Pinal County situation, you know, if it's something we know that we would be able to research, and especially with our resources, we'll do that and get an answer back to a homeowner. So just know that you as an individual homeowner are important to us, and we do our best to accommodate every request. Deb.
Two questions. Compliance, you guys say you spend a lot of time, like how often do you guys make it through the community?
I'm going to have Jen come up and touch on that because she knows the schedule that we have. What I did want to share, when we had our design review letter go out, which by the way has been beautiful, it really has worked, and it's really helped homeowners get up to date with some of their architectural changes. That blew up, and we loved that on one hand because it was helping our homeowners get compliant, especially if they ever go to sell their home. The second part to that though is we had to pull all hands on deck. And yeah, we had committee members that were coming in and helping. That's how intense this process was. So we were a little bit slow on I should say we don't have as many violations the last couple months as we have been doing. But we have a schedule we follow and she probably knows better.
So with the new fine and fee policy, it went from the 10 days to the 15 days. So now they'll be out in units every 16th day. So they have a map in the office, and they have their laminated ones that they go out with too with their iPads. So they have it sectioned out by how much time it's going to take for this one. They'll combine one or two, and it kind of goes around the whole community so that they're hitting there by the 16th day. They can't go back in there unless there's a complaint or something that comes up before that 16th day.
So
Well, they can go in there, but they can't escalate that same violation though.
Right,
So,
they drive the community every
Yes.
so
Yes.
every 2 weeks or so.
yes. Mm-hmm.
But it's also, just to add to that, thank you, Jen, we absolutely can go, back into these units, which they do. We call it spot checks, because if someone kind of figures out the schedule, we want to make sure that, we're keeping up on those in-betweens as well.
So just kind of as an example, there's times we're out in the community and there's certain homes where they just don't go in the house. So you have to drive by, and because they stand there, they know you're coming. And unfortunately, they learned the cars, but we have 2 new cars in the community now. So it'll be a little easier, but we have to drive around a couple hours, come back, shoot, they're still there. Okay, we'll try the next day to get that, because our compliance team does get chased down the road quite often. So, but we do go back and do those spot checks. So.
They chase you down the road.
Yeah.
You're not on their property.
No, it does happen.
First that yelled at me.
Yeah, there are things that we could tell you, but we won't.
So,
It's not for the weekend, right?
But you look down the road before you get to the house, and then you just keep driving like you're somebody else and come back later.
Yeah.
So.
That's why we have to kind of be all ninja-like.
And then I have another question.
Yes.
Connie, under secretary, it said, about signs and, I guess, communications and things like that. Something that's sorely lacking in this community, so maybe you can work on it this year and show some improvement in it, just to try to, something like this. Because it's a waste of your time. If 10 of us show up, it's nice to see 40 of us, and it would just be so much more beneficial. There's got to be more signage, more detail. I mean, it was on Facebook about this. I mean, because I miss the email blasts. Sometimes I don't read every Friday's email blasts, right? But I saw it on Facebook, and I had to then say, well, what was this one about? That information wasn't there the first time.
No, and that's a good point, because I know the food trucks today, tonight, whatever, that was everywhere.
Yeah.
But this was.
It was buried in a line or whatever, but it didn't have, what was it about, so I'm coming to town hall was, so just things like that would probably be very helpful.
Okay.
Maybe something that we can, and I've been screaming about it for years about there's gotta be something better than just email as a way to communicate with people. I know they don't wanna spend the money on regular snail mail, but,
So who's they? When you say they, who are you referring to? So the board.
You made mention it costs money to mail.
But ultimately it would, yeah.
Well, yes, I know,
Right.
but,
Yeah.
as
It's at their direction.
Yeah, but it's also comments that you have made. You know?
Oh, no, it does.
So
And
that's why I
that,
say,
yes,
I agree with
absolutely.
everybody. And
Yeah.
I understand. I
Yeah.
understand it's not one 20-cent stamp or whatever.
Sure.
You know, it's way more than that. So,
Can I?
Yeah, yes, I totally understand that. But there's gotta be some kind of happy medium.
Right.
There's gotta be a little bit more, because what we're doing now is not working.
I agree with you 100%. My thought is we have a Johnson Ranch Community Association Facebook page that I think needs to be used more for putting out these meetings and regular meetings, and it's all about events, and events are great, but
Something to think about.
So it's just other things to try, you
I
know.
know Facebook just, like I'll see something on Facebook, and then like I go back to look at it again, and it's just gone.
Well, that's it.
Delete.
Yeah,
I can delete it.
yeah, it's like I said, it's the algorithm, and once you hang it, they change it. You know, right? So, I mean, we're starting their social media, but, no.
Well, you know what, it's definitely something we can talk about. I appreciate that.
I mean, really, because it's just, it's sad that we don't see more people here at things like this, you know, and everything.
Last one was great, 150.
I would love to see this build
At the
and run it over.
Yeah, it's always hit and miss with our towns.
Yeah, but,
We'll look at other ways to communicate.
yeah,
And multiple ways to communicate.
Absolutely. There's never,
yeah.
a problem with doing that. I agree. Anything else? Are we gonna? Bill?
Just future thoughts for future town halls.
Yeah.
If you have any others planned right now, but it seems like many meetings that I've been to, often the questions about responsibilities come up. The question about Pinal County and what their responsibilities are and so on. I know we've had Mike Goodman here before, but he speaks more to a management type thing or a liaison to the community type thing, whereas a supervisor plays an entirely different role than someone in maintenance, for instance. So,
Right.
would someone from the county be possibly able to come to a future? I mean, it wouldn't be a whole session probably, but it could be a good topic that might interest people as far as what they do and what availability they have as far as some of these questions about parking or other types of maintenance issues and so on. So, I mean, they cover a lot of ground, and they've been pretty responsive in the times that I've called them between Public Works and the Sheriff's Office. I think they do a good job, but I'm sure there are a lot of other questions out there that they could maybe shed some light on.
Yeah, I think it would be fabulous because, we need to differentiate between Pinal versus the association. So they could answer a lot of questions, but at the same time, too, be able to say, this is what you would call us for versus. Because we do share that. It's funny you mentioned that because we've actually thought about having that as a topic that we would put together, but I like the idea that we would bring in Pinal as well, because then they could cover a lot of those. So we'll work on that with our awesome contacts there. The other thing that we've kind of been kicking around too is we could bring a speaker in, but we learned from that town hall meeting that homeowners, Deb, like you say, they're hungry for information. So what I think would be a fabulous idea is that we bring a speaker in, but then maybe the second half of it is left open for specific topics, or like an open forum where homeowners feel like they can have some of their questions answered as well, because we found out that was wonderful, and the board agrees that they're hungry for information, so homeowners want to know.
It's also space where you have a hot topic. Such
Yes,
as,
yeah.
Whatever
Sure.
was going on in equestrian and what's that?
Sterling, yeah.
No, well, don't even mention the Bagnell Road.
Right.
I can't even imagine that. Makes their head explode. stuff brought in a lot of people
Right.
to your town hall.
So the June 20th, I believe it is, for the next
I think
town
it
hall.
is.
We will be having the county up here. It's not gonna be someone that you normally see from the county, but it'll be someone that'll be able to talk to you about something that the board recently passed and put into effect and actually handed out through our website for the community, and that would be for emergency management. The only thing that's gonna stop that gentleman from coming up here is gonna be if he's called out either for something here within the state, or he's been asked to go out, like I have before when I worked for the state, to go to another state to assist. That's the only thing that's gonna stop him coming up here right now. But he's scheduled to come up here on June 20th. Sure.
You've been involved in the emergency preparedness, emergencies in and out of the community. What happens if we have a major catastrophe? Maybe it's hard to believe there's a. Do you have one?
Well, I know we have them. That's the biggest problem we have in the state is flooding. Believe it or not, that is the major problem in the state of Arizona. It's not wildland fires, it's flooding. Because our ground is so hard, and then after a wildland fire, the ground glacifies, so nothing can soak into the ground. So everything just slides right on down. Matter of fact, it was Green Valley about 12, 15 years ago. We had to go out there with Pinal County because of a fire that happened up in Apache County. Everything glacified, and through the tributaries and the waterways and everything, it came down and hit that area. And it was just fun looking at all the different fire retardant colors going through everyone's homes. It was great. No, I'm being very facetious. It was ugly. But no, he's coming up. He'll be able to talk about a lot of these different things. As far as getting out of Johnson Ranch, no matter where you live on Johnson Ranch, every road is a choke point. Every major road we have is a choke point. No, and if you have a problem in one area, you're gonna have a choke point. Good, we died. You're gonna have a choke point no matter what direction you go, whether you go towards Florence, towards Coolidge, towards Queen Creek, heading up back into AJ through Ironwood. You have choke points throughout all these areas because you have more than one HOA.
We've been told that within the next 10 years, believe it or not, this area is going to be around 950,000 people. Yeah, that's pushing the limit.
Yeah, I know.
And where's the infrastructure? The roads. And how long is it going to take? Is it going to take 30 years to get those roads?
And that's something that the HOA can't deal with. Right. That's something the HOA can't deal with, but, we've been invited out with Supervisor Goodman, along with the other HOAs, to talk to these supervisors, saying, we need help, we need these things out there. They're taking notes, and that's as far as I can go with it, or anyone else on the board can go, because we can't tell them what to do. We can only make the recommendations to them and try to coach them into the areas of getting the infrastructure in. Some of your big box stores won't come out in this area, not because they don't want us, but because there's no major highways close enough for them to get off the roads, dump the loads, restock, and get the vehicle out.
Remember 15 years ago, we only had one lane going on the highway, one lane each direction on Ironwood when I first moved out here. So it's taken 15 years to get 2222, right? So, I remember when just after that is when I moved in. So my point is, there was no Walmart, there was none of this stuff, there was probably 70,000 less people. When I first moved out here, it's taken 15 years to get to the roads we are now. So my comment is, if we are meant to be 950,000 in 15 years, it's going to be another 15 before we have roads to support that, based on history.
But I think all of these HOAs, like Mike Gilmer was talking about, need to get together, power in numbers, because I think we have a lot more influence over road planning, right? If you get them all together.
That was going to be my question. I was going to say, has there ever been thought of having a town hall with multiple HOAs and talking about?
There was something, before you guys remember, they talked about Plan Santan, it was about a year ago. I went to a seminar, and it was in Santana Heights, and they were talking exactly about that, is where do we bring the feeder off of 202 and coming on down into Johnson Ranch area, down to Copper Basin, widening things out, what sort of bike paths, what sort of, sort of green areas do we want? So there is something, and I think Pinal County has it all. They do have this plan. They did take a lot of people's ideas. You went around with a little sticky note and went to each of these boards and said, what did you think is important? And they had somebody from roads, they had someone from sewer and water, they had someone from park and recreation and stuff. So I know that they are talking about it. It's just a question. This is about a year ago.
It's on their website.
Yeah, exactly. Does anybody else remember going to it? Did anybody else go to it?
Yes.
But it was in Santana Heights. So they are thinking of it.
So thank you for that. Jen's reminding me too that they have town hall. We need to wrap it up because we have this until 8:30. So I appreciate everyone being here, but look for Pinal County Town halls that they have as well, because that might be a really good way to have some of these questions answered. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. We really appreciate it. Have a